So today, John Roblox made a post about TDX Nightmare Mode. And also, I'm probably gonna rush this video as well, since I'm working on another video that I'd like to get finished with. But anyways, this new post from John Roblox says that a major update is gonna happen soon, which is obviously Nightmare Mode. But anyways, the reason why I'm making this video is to talk about what some of the enemies could possibly look like, and what enemies could possibly return, and also what the wave layouts could possibly look like as well. And also to discuss some other things as well too. But anyways, let's begin. We all already know that Nightmare Mode will have a lot of killing in it, and a lot of hard enemies in it as well too. But anyways, what could we expect Nightmare Mode to act like? Well, first off, I think Nightmare Mode will be a mix of both Elite and Expert, since in my opinion, if those two modes were missed, then it'll be an actual nightmare for a lot of players trying to beat it. But what enemies could we expect from Nightmare Mode though? Well, here are some concepts I've made that we could possibly expect to see in Nightmare Mode. But anyways, take a look at some of the concepts I've made. So now that you've seen what some of my concept enemies for Nightmare Mode look like, what could the wave layouts look like? Well, here's what my version of what Nightmare Mode's wave layouts could possibly look like. From Wave 1-8, these Zombie X enemies appear, and they're basically like the Zombie Plus enemies, but a bit harder with more health and some early resistances as well as weaknesses, which basically means that, for example, if a tower deal a fire type damage, then it'll deal an extra 1.5x damage. But anyways, here are their stats. Now, from Wave 11-15, we get to meet these old enemies, and by the name, I think you already know who they are, but anyways, here are their stats. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that around this time, stealth enemies begin arriving, and they are. All of these enemies arrive on Wave 11. Now, by Wave 15-18, we get to meet 3 new enemies, and they are the Boss X Resurrected Ghost Operator and the Mega Titan. And also, one Wave 16 Multiplier 2 appears, on Wave 17 Multiplier 1 appears, on Wave 18 an Elite Grenadier appears. But anyways, here are these new enemies' stats. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Mega Titan is basically just a revived Titan, but on steroids. But anyways, here are when the stealth variants appear for these guys. Now, by Wave 21-25, we get to meet these guys, and these guys are gonna be really annoying, like real annoying. But anyways, here are their stats. But now here are their stealth variants. Now, by Wave 26-29, these more tougher enemies begin to appear. But anyways, here are their stats. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that some enemies will not be affected by the multipliers as long as it's not the multiplier X, of course, then they won't get affected then. But here are when their stealth variants will begin to arrive. They all arrive on Wave 30. But now let's explain some other stuff about Nightmare Mode. And just in case if you forgot, no, I haven't made more concepts enemies for Nightmare Mode, sadly. So now that you've seen what some of the enemies that could possibly come out with Nightmare Mode, what could we expect the wave layouts to look like? Well, in my opinion, during the early wave, it'll slowly progress from smaller hordes to bigger and bigger hordes of zombies with more health, more spend, more resistances, and some weaknesses as well too. And also, the resurrected ghost operators will be spammed a lot when it first appears. But now let's discuss what rewards we could get from Nightmare Mode. Well, the first thing we could all expect is that we'd either get 2 5003 350 cash whenever we win Nightmare Mode, depending on what map you play on, of course. But on the other hand, we could also get a secret reward if we managed to trigger a secret thing, like for example, speed running Nightmare Mode under 21 minutes. Then when you return to the lobby, you can check your achievements and you'll get $1,750 cash, and you'll also get the Golden Ranger. But the only thing is you gotta speed run Nightmare Mode at least 10 times to get this achievement. But hey, that's what I think we could possibly get when Nightmare Mode drops. But Anyways, will Dr. Xenon take Advisor's place in Nightmare Mode? Well, in my personal opinion, yes, we could get to see her again in Nightmare Mode, giving us dialogue and possibly giving us some lore as well too. But now that we're getting close to the end of the video, I'd like to talk about something else. Will there be another game mode that's even harder than when Nightmare comes out? Well, at first, before the game got released to the public, we managed to only see that TDX only had 3 game modes, both of them being easy and intermediate, which were the only ones that were finished, while Nightmare Mode wasn't. But when we got to see the trailer, we got to see 2 new major bosses, which were the Revived Plague Doctor and the Eradicator Mark, which we'd later see these 2 in their own game modes right underneath their easier counterparts. And that's why I think we might get a harder version of Nightmare Mode along with the release of Nightmare Mode. But hey, I could also be completely wrong at the same time as well, since I'm just a random kid saying this stuff that could possibly or possibly not happen at all when Nightmare Mode releases. But now, what could be the best map to do Nightmare Mode on? Well, it's pretty obvious people are gonna choose Oil Rig to try to beat Nightmare Mode. But why is Apocalypse here as well? Well, my fellow viewers, that's because Apocalypse has a lot of space for you to place down towers, and it's in my opinion the longest map in the game as well, and you earn more from it than when playing on Oil Rig. But anyways, I guess that's the end of this video, so see you in the next one. Bye.